All right, so how you guys doing? Um, it's gonna be a quick reply. Well, I don't know how quick it's gonna be, but it's more like a reply towards Stephen Rose and then some of the comment section that I've actually had the chance to check out. Anyway, so the question is, how many wives? Those who are those who actually like the idea of polygamy. How many wives can they actually afford? You know, it's good to fantasize about what you can do or what you're able of doing or whatever the case may be. But would you be able to afford that lifestyle which you choose? Because one of this guy called Barren Semantics, right? One of the he left a comment on my video to which he says, not a bad video, but you are confusing polygamy with whoremongering, cheating, and no good mates. So I said, mind elaborating? And he said, sure, polygamy isn't about side chicks. Polygamy is about marriages and commitment. The men you describe are just men who screw around and can't help themselves. If a person say they have a side piece, she is not practicing polygamy. This is some other form of poly or non-monogamy. If a person say that they have multiple spouses, then they are probably polygamous. All right. So I get what you're saying, right? I understand perfectly. But now the question is, the guys who are practicing or who say they want to practice polygamy, but they can't because A, their wallet would afford them to do so, and B, they live in a country to which polygamy is illegal. So wouldn't then fucking around or having side piece is the next best thing towards polygamy for them? So in a way, yeah, it's like, you don't drink, let's say, vodka, but you just, you drink beer. It's the same shit. However, let's take into consideration polygamy, right? All right, good. So that someone wants to have multiple wives. What's gonna be the threshold that will qualify someone to have multiple wives? How many wives can you afford and 50K salary? How many wives can you afford and 100K salary? Are you planning on having all of these people in the same household, or are you planning on having each wives in separate homes? How's that going to work? It's easier to argue for something, right? However, when you try to put it into practice, you're going to start to come off short. So in a society such as in the Western world, how affordable is polygamy? Unless you have fuck you money, which most guys don't. Most guys who are the most vocal about polygamy don't have that type of money. They might start off, they might have some level of wealth, but not to the point in which you can actually afford two or three wives, right? Like I'm gonna show you an example, right? I did a video before that says polygamy breeds crime and poverty. So this is um a quick search on Wikipedia, right? And it's about the legality of polygamy. Over here in this on this map, it shows you the places, the ones that are in black is where polygamy is illegal and the practice of polygamy is criminalized. And you have the ones that are in blue, that's where polygamy is legal. Um, and in dark blue, polygamy is legal in some area, or the orange, polygamy is illegal, but it's nobody gets it's not criminalized for all that shit. However, overall, the funny thing about it was like the countries that practice polygamy and stuff like that are not the most developed countries as a whole. when you're looking at as far as their GDP, when you're looking into their the crime rate statistics. Granted, there are many factors that comes with this, right? So I'm not saying that polygamy is the reason why um these countries are not thriving. However, it makes it easier when you have a country, right, or a community where you have a lot of men that are disenfranchised. Say, for example, you have the 80-20 rules. Okay. You have the top dog, the top 20% of men getting all the bitches. And then now you have a whole bunch of men that are without women. So these men are now easier to be influenced and easier to join groups, to join gang groups and stuff like that, to which they feel validated. I mean, shit, fucking case in point. A lot of let's see how big the MGTOW movement is. You have a lot of guys that are disenfranchised, that are not chosen, right? And now they are looking for a group. They try to look for, they're looking for a quote unquote gang to join because they are disenfranchised. You know, and it's not about like you could flash about, oh, I make money, man. I go overseas, I travel, I get bitches, blah blah blah. But the matter is, you are disenfranchised. You have no choice but to now seek out, I don't know, prostitutes, right? No matter how well you want to cut it, you might say that, nah, man, I'm doing this thing, so therefore, once I'm looking for a virgin at a brothel, and and don't. This is where I don't misquote me saying that like if you getting hookers and all this shit, that means that um you are not husband material, right? What I'm saying is a great percentage of these men who in the society which they live in cannot get a woman, right? Or on a long-term basis, not on a short-term basis, on a long-term basis. So they are being used as whether it's community dick, or they are being used as, whether in a financial aspect as well, whatever the case may be. So then, therefore, even you would think that these guys, yeah, they still have access to, let's say, pussy or whatever the case, whether they pay for it via prostitution or they are being used as a dildo, even though they have access for it, yet they still disgruntled. They still behave as if like they are hurt. They still behaving as if like the world is unfair. They're still behaving as if somebody personally slighted them, right? In some cases, yeah. In some cases, some guys are in online are still crying about their college sweetheart or their high school sweetheart that did them wrong. They can't get over it. I get that part. And I also get the part of real victims of people who have been, messed up by the current system of the Western marriages, right? I understand that part as well. However, who's gonna make those changes in the law? Who's gonna actually make those changes in the legislations? People who have things to lose. That means married men. Married men are the ones that's gonna actually vote, run for office. They are gonna be the judges. They are gonna be the one running for um presidents, or they are gonna be the one campaigning for these laws to change. A lot of these guys who are complaining about these laws, these laws are that, they're not doing anything about it, and they don't care about doing anything about it. As a matter of fact, the current system which they operate in help them, because the more women can fend for themselves because of the system, then the more access they can have to these women. Because let's say that, okay, you have these bras, right? Whether it's your average welfare mom, or a chick that's just, she still have her youth or beauty and whatnot, and she can, because the Western world is a more freer society, which means that she gets to do, she gets to be more, she gets to be what you call it. she gets to be more open about her sexuality, right? So then therefore, who does it benefit the most? The guy that want to fuck around. So I'm going off script here. Now let's look at the Western world, you know, and you're looking at those who practice polygamy and all this shit. Which one of these places are more developed economically? Those areas that are in black, right? So now to go back to Barren, a guy that lives in those Western hemisphere cannot afford to have multiple wives. And even if they do, then they cannot afford to have multiple wives and then build wealth at the same time. It costs money to raise a kid. It costs money to actually have a family. It costs. So it's easier to be type of, so it's easier to be a community dick than to actually be a real polygamist. That's why guys going for to be community dick. And now you might argue that let me switch to Steven. I'm gonna read this comment real quick, but I wanted to talk about some of the things that Steven was saying. Mm, mm. All right. Here's the thing about a lot of these married men, right? Um, that's why I always talk about not everybody should be married. You get this alphabet kid, QB, like he shouldn't be married. He should never be married because if he ever gets married, God forbid, the chick that she's gonna go through hell because there's always gonna be that regret of how many more hoes I could be fucking instead of being with you. Because he, when because sometimes he actually goes through my DM all the time, and then be one of the things that he said, he was like trying to guilt trip me or some shit like that, saying some shit like Art, I feel sorry for you, buddy, to be able to fuck one. I think that's his voice, right? Yeah. To be able to fuck just one pussy for the rest of your life. Some shit like that. So basically, by admitting it, when they talk about stuff like I'm looking for a virgin, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, it comes down to this. It's like the lack of discipline they now have to justify the fact that they have no discipline in what they're trying to accomplish, right? And you might say that, well, you know what, I'm saving all that money, blah blah. Once I'm at this age, I'm gonna be able to retire, right? But all right, so let's say that a lot of these guys, they start looking to settle down when they start realizing that, oh shit, I'm the only 50-year-old at this club. I am, my back, I'm waking up and I have like, I'm having those back pains now. Or it's not as easy to actually maintain that six pack anymore. Or it's like they're so, the wealth starts deteriorating and shit like that. So they're still looking for that nurturing aspect. And by that time, they're looking for that 25-year-old to be able to take care of their old ass. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna fucking happen. So now the guys, Steven, the guys that you mentioned, the married man that's still being disgruntled about their situation is this. They have that fear of, they know they have a good woman, that cook and clean, that take care of the kids, that do a whole bunch of shit. But they have this idea in their head, how many other pussies I'm missing out on, right? So their plan is, what they're hoping for is their wife to continue doing what they're doing, right? To do the cooking, the cleaning, to do all that shit that mothers would do or wife would do. So, but yeah, at the same time, to have that freedom to be able to do whatever they want to do without that freedom affecting the married life at home. And this is where they cannot juggle these two aspects of their life. So to be able to be single and married at the same time, because they know once they finish screwing, let's say whether it's a hooker, whether it's the side chick, whatever the case may be, they still have to go home, still have to handle their responsibility, and they still want to be able to, raise their kids properly and all this shit without the backlash of being a community dick. So now, women are very emotional, right? So how do you expect her to then, to kiss your ass, basically, right? Because a lot of these guys, they look at women to kiss their ass, to, I'm still a king, goddamn it, all that rhetoric shit. Because it's not gonna happen. Yeah, she might take care of the kids, but every new side piece you have, it's like a slice away from the relationship which you guys had built. And what do you think is gonna happen once the kids are old enough to leave the nest? You no longer have anything in common. The more you fuck around, then the more distance you create in your relationship. To the point now, once the kids are no longer in the house, then there's no more reason for you guys to be together. And these are gonna be the same guys that's gonna talk about, man, yo, this bitch filed to divorce me and all this shit, blah blah blah. Like, dude, the marriage has been over a long ass time. What do you mean, like, yo, just because I cheated, blah blah blah? How dare she? How dare she? Crying, becoming MGTOWs and all this shit. But they're gonna fail to address their role in why the divorce happened. So let's take this guy for instance, right? Right, at this one, let's see, Kylon McCoy, right? And then he says, me personally, I hope they legalize polygamy marriages soon. I think polygamy is great because you can build a legacy and have your name live on for generations. Listen, Bill Gates' name is going to live on forever. This motherfucker created Microsoft. You think he would actually have that time to put his brain to the test while he was so busy with like 4 or 5 wives? No. Listen. Having to manage one family, that's a challenge enough. Now imagine trying to manage 3 or 4. What do you think is going to happen? You have like, what, 4 or 5 wives, and then you're not going to be the one to actually, set the order. You're not going to have to manage them. They're going to just manage themselves. It's like having 4 or 5 different businesses. And then if you are an absentee business owner, then how do you expect your business to thrive? It's going to fall apart. And that's the thing. A lot of these guys try to bite more they can chew. The polygamy aspect sounds very awesome, but how would you be able to afford it? Let's continue, right? Even if it just okay, even if I just stick to one female, I still don't trust females nowadays to even commit to just one. Uh, I get you. Trust is something that is automatically given. It's earned. So I don't, and I don't expect nobody to actually trust females right away. Just like I don't expect females to trust men right away. You to earn that trust. But what tend to occur is you're supposed to do right by me, but I don't have to do right by you. You're supposed to be the chick that I want you to be, but I don't have to be the man that you want me to be. And this is where that thing starts to fall apart, because in order for you to be in all this polygamous relationship shit, you're not gonna be in polygamous relationship with the best type of chick. You're gonna be with the one that's not gonna care whether or not you, you know, as long as you're providing for the kids, you're providing whatever the case may be. They're not gonna, they're not gonna be nurturing towards you. And now having to deal with, let's say, 4 or 5 chicks. At some point, they're not gonna competing against you. They're gonna get together and they're gonna find out, okay, what way I'm gonna milk this motherfucker. I'm gonna give you a perfect example, right? I like using Future. Future's last, um, Future's last the last chick that actually took the bag, that secured the bag from Future. You know how she did it? So Future didn't want to give any sort of DNA test. The bitch stole my last name, talking all that greasy shit, right? So you know how the latest baby mama saga, you know how she was able to confirm that was Future's kid by actually now getting in contact with one of Future's baby mamas who already had the test, the the test confirmed about her kid. So now the new baby mama was able to now do a DNA test based on that sibling, that step sibling and shit like that. And that came out to be, that came out to be a confirmation as to why Future is the father. So these bitches are working together against you. So when you think that, nah, I'm gonna have them divided, and I'm gonna have them fight against each other, I'm gonna have them compete for me, nah, nigga, they're gonna work together against your ass. Next thing you in a coma, your shit don't work anymore. You shitting blood. You be like, fuck, which of you bitches poisoned me? All of them, dude. They all did. uh, I've read that polygamy household could be good, and the siblings would probably have a great bond that a normal household. Polygamy being illegal is so stupid to me. Africans even believe in it. Yeah, but look at the state of Africa. How prosperous is Africa compared to the some Western countries, compared to most Western countries? Because see, you have to be able to use. All right, men are the one that build society, right? But they gotta have a reason why they should contribute to society. As you can see right now, because of the past 30 to 40 years, right, where men as a whole are being disenfranchised, their marriage are all-time low. What is going on in the Western world right now? You see a lot of men are not thriving anymore. They're actually not trying to better themselves. As long as they have a little part-time job or they have like a little apartment, and then they get to get a whole year in there, they're good. They're not thriving for anything better. Even if you're a guy that's like, let's say you work in 3 jobs and shit like that, right? To make that 6-figure, right? You're still wasting a lot of money on shit that's irrelevant, just in order for you to compete in the sexual marketplace. $2,000 for a watch, or a car that a car note that you paying, like, let's say $500 for, a whole bunch of shit just so you could actually look like you got it, right? So therefore, marriage or commitment is there, so the guy now, like, he's trying to build something for the future. But if you have a whole bunch of baby mamas, right, or quote unquote wives, would you be able to leave each one of your kids a house or something? Or each would each one of those broads be able to, would you even be able to build any sort of wealth? So when you pass, not just leaving you just not just leaving them your last name, you're actually leaving them some wealth. You know? So that's the question I have for you. Like, how many wives can you afford in your budget? Think about it. So anyway, this is our Banaka. Share, like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Our Banaka. I like you, buddy.